It is Friday, April the 7th, as the NBA regular season draws to a close. Been about a week since we were with you here at BetSafe, but as we said, the playoffs are approaching, so we'll be with you plenty over the next couple of months. Most teams with either 3 or 4 games remaining in the regular season. The Western Conference is pretty well settled in terms of the playoff teams, still some seeding to be decided. The East, on the other hand, still a jumbled mess at the bottom. We're talking seeds 6 through 9. Only 2 games separate seeds 6 through 9. And of course, only 8 will make the playoffs. So one of those teams going to be left out in the cold. If the season ended today, that team would be the Miami Heat, a half game back of Indiana and Chicago for the 8th seed in the East. And tonight, the Heat travel to Toronto to face the Raptors. Let's start there. Toronto, a 5.5-point favorite at BetSafe. 206.5 the total here. As we said, this is must-win time for the Heat. They are a half game back of a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, but they've been treading water over these past 10 games, not playing nearly as well as they were a month ago. Just 5-5 in their last 10 games, dealing with some injury issues. Starting two guard Dion Waiters still out with that sprained ankle, and they might be missing Luke Babbitt, their starting small forward, a three-point specialist. He missed their last game against Charlotte with a hip flexor, questionable for tonight. And the Heat really in a tough spot here, going on the road to face a Raptors team that has been playing very well lately. The Raptors 9-2 in their last 11 games, and they got all-star point guard Kyle Lowry, their team leader, back in the lineup on Wednesday. Lowry had missed an extended amount of time, but seemed like he hadn't missed any, because he came back on Wednesday with 27 points and 10 assists in a comeback win over the Detroit Pistons. So the Raptors now fully healthy. As we said, 9-2 in their last 11 games, really picking up steam now as we head into these playoffs. They are tied with the Washington Wizards for the 3rd seed in the East, just 2 games back of Boston for the 2 seed. So look, this is an important game for Toronto. They're a very good home team, 27-13 at home this year. The Heat, meanwhile, just 17-22 away. Look, I have liked this Miami Heat team all season, well, since they got hot a couple of months ago, and I have pretty much rode them with a lot of success over these past 2 or 3 months. But I think now it might be time to step off the train, at least temporarily. As we said, this is a really, really tough spot for them. They haven't been particularly good on the road this season, going to Toronto to face a Raptors team that is just getting fully healthy, picking up steam as we head into the postseason, 9-2 in their last 11 games. I think Toronto wins this game and covers the 5.5-point number. Moving on now to Houston, where the Rockets host the Detroit Pistons. Houston, a 12.5-point favorite at BetSafe, 223.5 the total in this game. And the Pistons have totally fallen apart here. They have lost 2 straight and 7 of their last 8 games to fall 3.5 games back of the 8th and final playoff spot in the East. Remember, a few weeks ago, it looked like the Pistons were going to be a playoff team, but now it would take a miracle. And I don't think these miracles are going to happen. They would have to win their last 4 games. They would need a lot of other stuff to happen. The problem with Detroit lately, as it has been their problem all season, has been on the offensive end. I mean, this team just cannot score consistently. They've scored fewer than 100 points in 9 of their past 12 games. Since March the 14th, only the Atlanta Hawks with a worse offensive rating than Detroit's 96.9. And look, that is bad news when you're going to Houston to face a Rockets team that is among the best in the NBA offensively. The Rockets, 2nd in the NBA in points scored. They average 115.3 points per game. They are closing in on a 3 seed out west, and they should get Ryan Anderson, their sharp-shooting forward, one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Should get him back in the lineup tonight. He has missed the past 6 games. The Pistons, meanwhile, shutting down some of their best players. Coach Stan Van Gundy announced after the Pistons' last game, he lost to Toronto, that he would be shutting down point guard Reggie Jackson for the remainder of the season. And he also said some of the other Pistons' young guys will be getting more time. That is bad news for a team that has already been struggling. As we said, the Pistons lost 7 of their past 8 games. They just cannot score, facing this Rockets team that just pours it on. I think this game is not going to be close. I'm not saying the Pistons have quit on the season, but they sure are showing signs in the last few games, head hanging. And as we said, now Stan Van Gundy going with some younger guys, shutting down Reggie Jackson, one of their best offensive players. All signs point to a blowout in this one. I think the Rockets win easy and cover the 12.5-point number. Final game I'll be involved in on this Friday, April the 7th. What about the Oklahoma City Thunder going out to Phoenix to face the struggling Suns? OKC, an 8-point favorite at BetSafe, 226 the total here. Headline of this game, I guess, Russell Westbrook going for his 42nd triple-double of the season. That would break Oscar Robertson's record. We'll see if he gets it. More importantly, though, OKC charging towards the playoffs now, looking like they're going to be a 6th seed out west, which would avoid Golden State and San Antonio in the first round, but they would still have a tough matchup with a team like the Houston Rockets. Now, the Phoenix Suns have lost 13 straight games. That's a franchise record. 13 straight games, and they're intentionally tanking. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. The Suns have shut down veteran players like Brandon Knight, Tyson Chandler, Eric Bledsoe, going with a bunch of young guys. Again, intentionally trying to lose. I'm not saying the guys on the floor are trying to lose, because they're not, but management wants to lose, and it has been working. As we said, they have lost 13 straight games. However, and yes, there is a however here, if you haven't been paying attention, and you probably haven't, because why would you pay attention to this Phoenix Suns team at this point, a team that is tanking and on a 13-game losing streak? But for those who have been paying attention, they know this Suns team has started playing better quietly. They have started playing better over this past week to 10 days. A little bit of momentum now. They are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. Single-digit losses in their last 5 games to Golden State, Houston, the LA Clippers, and the Atlanta Hawks. Those are 4 playoff teams. In those games, the Suns have scored 118, 117, 116, and 111 points. So they are putting the ball in the basket right now. Rookie point guard Tyler Ulis playing some great basketball. 34 points versus Houston in the Suns' last games. Ulis averaging 18.7 in his last 6. And Oklahoma City, not a good defensive team. The Thunder, bottom half of the league in both points allowed and opponent's field goal percentage. So look, this Suns team that has been playing very well on the offensive end lately, facing a team that's not particularly good defensively, I think the Suns a good bet to put up some points here. And you know what? The last time these teams met, the Suns pulled out a victory. That was a month ago. Suns winning 118-111. They've only won 2 games since then, but they did beat these Thunder the last time they played them. Look, I think the Thunder are likely to win this game, but I'll tell you what, I think the Suns, as an 8-point home underdog, might be a sneaky play. As we said, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, and they've been playing some really good teams in that stretch, been playing very well offensively. The Thunder struggled defensively. So look, I haven't touched the Suns here over these past 2 or 3 weeks since it's become obvious that they were tanking. But I think tonight might be the night. I think Phoenix might be a good-looking play as an 8-point home underdog. I am on that side of it. There you have it, folks. Those are my thoughts for tonight. I like Toronto minus 5.5 at home against the Miami Heat. I like Houston to cover 12.5 against the Detroit Pistons. And I like the Phoenix Suns as a sneaky 8-point underdog against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Folks, I wish you best of luck no matter what you decide to do tonight, just so long as your interests don't conflict with my interests. Enjoy the games.